Another week on the LPGA Tour of Korea begins. We are live from Seoul 1 for the first round of the Celltrion Queens Masters. The front page of the leaderboard contains all players who are through their rounds, and it is Bungmin who leads by one stroke with an opening round of 65. Pak Bo-mi, impressive round of 66 alongside Pae So-yeon. Those two currently sharing P2 in the leaderboard. EA1, she is out on course. She is at 4 under par, and of those still playing their round, she is closest to the top as the young rookie continues to impress in the first dozen events of her professional career. Let's go to 12. Here's Pak Yeol putting for birdie. Stayed straight as an arrow all the way through. Needed it to go left, and the misread will keep her away from picking up a stroke here. Now Cheng Su-yeon at 11. Her tee shot of the par 3. Well, she was worried about it on the release, but she would have just enough to bounce and roll up into a very favorable position. On to 12, Chenan now for par. She's at 3 under and hoping to stay there. She'll be able to with a nice finish. No, Imi Jung also teeing off at the 11th, just 1 under for the day. Not quite enough to get up onto the putting surface, but a little bump and run should be plenty to get her back on track. On to the 10, the first hole of the back 9 for Cho Ayan. No bogeys yet on the day, looking for her 3rd bird. Even if that had a little bit of extra pace needed, would have been right. So it is a 2-putt par. Ideon has plenty of backspin on that to keep it in prime position to pick up the stroke she lost at the 10th. Her one and only bogey on the round so far. It's on line for EA1, just carries a bit too much pace. Made contact with the outside edge of the target, just wouldn't have enough to convince it to fall for yet another birdie. And now the second for Imi Jung. Kicks out to the left as it lands and will stay several centimeters out for an easy tap-in par finish to this first par 3 of the back 9. She's been trying to put together some good finishes to her events and get closer to the top 10 in the points and in the money. She is currently 22nd and 24th respectively, and has her par and will be on to the 12th next. Jung Yoon-ji, this looks promising. Yes. tiptoes its way all the way to the finish line. Now birdies on the first hole of both the front and back 9, and is back to under par. Four birdies on the front, no bogeys for EA1. And has another par here. We are playing the Legend course here at Solheim 1 this week. 1,000,000,001 is up for grabs in the tournament purse. Simple roll-in finish for Chang Soo-yeon. Now back-to-back birdies to start her back 9 of this Friday. First of 3 rounds. The Celltrion Queens Masters, just the 3rd playing of this event. Take over to the 13th now. Up the hill from the tee blocks and into the fairway. And a slight left to right cut here on the approach. Pacquiao is up. Neither of the two in that group particularly inside of the 5 to 6 meters. That is generally our birdie range here on tour. And that will open the door for China Na. 92% her greens in regulation thus far. Well, looked like she was going to carry that momentum forward, but the backspin takes it onto the fringe. Great start to the hole with a powerful drive to the offset right of the fairway. Good to see Park Ji-young back in contention in the field this week. She has been surpassed by Chi-Han Sol and EA1 in the points list, though she still hangs on to 3rd in the money. 274 million won nearly this year.
Shot! No.
Lee Min-jung is also able to find the first cut and is away well. It'll be 9-iron off the tee at the 11th for Chung Yoon-ji. Plays to the right with 9-iron. I wouldn't say it was a bit too much club, but she knew more or less what she was attacking. She played safely onto the green at 11. It's just 7 yards off the front and 8 yards from the right, this opening round pin placement. Also 9 for Choi-yeon. Catches the slope just before the green, isn't going to have enough to pop up. She'll be able to have a much better idea of where that ball came to rest. Can't see it falling much further down than where she was, so just a little wedge flop as she'll try and go up and down. E1 will also come up short. It's not a bad miss today. Very much a testing pin placement in this opening round. ENG the only one to be a bit more conservative. Fast forward to 12. It's 134 meters out from the fairway for Imi Jung. Gets caught up in the thick rough just before the hazard off the back of the green. That won't necessarily be a fun out from there. Cheng Su-Yun in last year's playing of this event go on to finish in 8th position at 10 under. She shoots 67-71 in a final round 68. Some work to do with the putter. It is up and onto the green. Jiyoung 2 over par, and just over 100 meters up, she will be in a very nice position to try and take a step closer to even with a great approach. Now Chanana from just inside the fringe. Long swooping right to left. Didn't give herself enough leeway to the right when she started that. Joyanne is up and shouldn't have any issues getting down from there. Pulled to the inside. Buckyo once again had accounted for some movement, but the putt would stay straight all the way through. Yeah, one with a little extra oomph on that will be in a similar position to Joyanne with a short putt for par. Well, it was anxious moments all the way through, but in the end, Chun Ye-sung would be able to find a birdie at 13. She's gone back-to-back now. Now Chung Yin-ji starts herself on this long left-to-right journey that just comes up shy. Amy Jung from the rough. Couldn't have asked for a whole lot more from that lie. Still have to putt this out, but par shouldn't be much of an issue with that nice recovery. The A1, it is going to be par for her at the 11th. From the extreme right of the fairway, we find Jung Mi with a very nice approach. And the distance dialed into near perfection. Be a short tap-in birdie for her. Not a tap-in, but for Chang Soo-yeon, a look at birdie nevertheless. The back-to-back streak is broken, and she will be finishing off for a short par. Well, the hard work at 12 was done on this approach. This would be a much needed birdie for Park Ji-young. Will continue to elude her as she is down in a tie for 97th position. Started the round with a bogey, would have another at the 5th, a double at the 6th, and she has been on the slow march to getting back to even. Can't help herself out any at this 12th. Amy Jung also able to secure a par. Week and a half removed from the first win in her professional career. She's been swinging that driver especially very confidently. Can add another one to the season-long tally. 2022 season, she's averaging 3.94 strokes per hole. That is second across the entire tour. Played her drives to the right 63% of the time, EA1. Now Choyun's up next.
go.
And she attacks to left center in the fairway. Down this group goes. Teed off at 12:15 local time. 3 hours and change ago. And Imi Jung, the previous hole, able to find the left side, or the next hole, excuse me, able to find the left side of that fairway. Here's Lee Daeyeon for birdie at 13. Very nice. Her first of the back nine, her third of the day, and it takes her to 2 under par. And Hung Jung Mi. Starting to knock on the door of the top 10. 2 more birdies and she'll be there. She's got her first. Still a bogey-free round. Birdies at 1, 7, and now here at the 13th. So it's just outside of 140. Choyun, she's going to go with 6 iron. Almost exactly from the center of this fairway and behind the yardage marker. And that has gone well wide to the right. This is an incredibly wide green, and she's using just about every available meter. Jung Yoon-ji looking for the back left of this green, but not quite that back left. Similar end result to where Imi Jung had played, and she was able to get a decent out. And a $125 even for EA1. She goes with a pitching wedge, 44 meters per second the ball speed, 25 meters at the apex. She too heads to the back left, but is able to stay on the green. Well, 177 meters and 193 meters. The second shots on this par 5 respectively. Chun Ye-sung was able to find fairway from the left side of it. Up she goes, about 73 meters, and with the downslope, surprised she took as much club as she did there. She will be putting. And Shannon 9 to the rough between the two sand traps. Ball slightly below her feet in this stance as she tries to lift on up. And down the slope to the left side, our right side of the flag, and out into the rough once more. "120 players in the field this week, the Celltrion Queens Masters. Bungmin Ji, 9 birdies on the day, 2 bogeys, and she has the sole spot top of the leaderboard as she looks to defend her title here at Solheim 1. ENG out of the rough, back onto the green. Keeps it above the hole. Have a downhill putt for par next, and not quite in certainty range. Chanana out of the rough. And Imi Jung on the approach, trying to also stay out of the second cut. 73 meters on this approach for her, and look at that backspin right at the pin. And an ear-to-ear grin, rightfully so. This is the long-distance effort for birdie for Choyon. We'll roll it into the shadow of the flag, and it will be a two-putt par scenario. Chanye Sung for birdie at 14 from the border of the fringe, and this ball needs to start heading right. It will not. Unable to make any progress from 3 under here. Slightly offline for A1, so it is another par here at the 12th. That one will sting a bit for Chanana. She gets stuck over the edge, and it's her first drop shot of the day. Takes her down to 2 under once again. And the putts just aren't dropping right now across the course. Bogey number 2 of the day for Chung Yoon-ji after a mishit approach and not being able to recover in time. That takes her back to even. We can go 0 for 3. Amy Jung could typically have that one in her sleep with her eyes closed. Just rockets off the face of that putter. Pops back out. She should certainly not be at 1 under after 13 holes from that spot. My word, it's like a curse has fallen over the course. Choyun will be falling to 1 under. But she needs to make this to make sure it's only 1 drop. Questions are being asked all over the course right now, especially on the 11th, 12th, and 13th holes, as that's another bogey. Look at the par 4 13th, 298 meters. It's a shot uphill from the tee blocks. 10-meter rise in elevation to the fairway. The landing zone just before that bunker to the left side of the fairway. And then from there it is a relatively short approach up from the very bottom of the green. Our pin placement today 10 yards off the front edge, 8 yards from the right, so that does keep the sand somewhat in play today.
Okay.
Nicely away off the tee. Driver continues to work well for EA1. Jay Ream, this is probably the most difficult putt she'll play all day. Just the slightest of taps to get it started. And carries down the rise, and it is 4 feet to the right of the pin. She'll mark and prepare for a par putt. Joey on at 13, needing a bounce back here. First one is clever, down the middle, and away they walk down the fairway. Well, Yuhei Ran continues to lead the points in the money lists here on tour. 216 points, 326 million won collected thus far this season. Starting to have a bit more of a challenge from EA1, who is 198 points for the year. That is only 18 points back. And she trails Yuhei Ran by 34 million in the points, though Mattas Sohm is as close to anyone has come at challenging her for the rookie lead. And even there, she is 167 back of the top performing rookie so far this season. That's a brilliant approach, just centimeters shy from holding out from the fairway. Now 81 meters after that drive. Well, hits and goes no further. Clearly over the sand. And attacking that front right pin location. extra sting as she caught quite the divot there, Chung Ying-ji. And after some bogeys from various players across the course, the second page of the leaderboard looks a little bit different, though the first remains unchanged. Park Bo-gyum also with a nice round in progress. Kim Min-ju also at 4 under par as we near the end of the first hour of our first round of coverage here at the Celltrion Queens Masters. Well, the look at birdie for EA1 was slightly to the right, so once again she will be settling for par. Hasn't been able to budge from 4 under. Now Amy Jung's approach at 14. I'm not sure if the plan was to try and reach, but she's going to roll all the way through the sand trap. She certainly had the distance if she could have kept that more to the left. Now Chung Yun-ji, nicely done this time. She needed that. She's back to under par after dropping her second bogey of the day at the 12th. And over to 15, a 379-meter par 4. And this is where we find Shanana after getting tangled up with a tree to the left side of this hole. Had to just punch out. Now she's playing her 4th. Not quite going to be able to get all the way up the step, but she will be putting, and she will be dropping once again. There's Choi Yun. Able to get up to 2 under. She was involved in that 4-minute window where it seemed like everyone in our featured groups was bogeying. Hers came at the 12th, but a nice bounce back at the 13th. And now look at the updated LF Hazy's point standings. It continues to be Yuhei Ran leading, 2,920 points. EA1 has closed that gap to just over 165 back of the lead. Qian Sol up 2 spots to 3rd. Peng Min-ji dropped to the 4th position. Pak Ji-young dropped to 5th. And Chanana, my goodness. A little bit of magic to avoid a double bogey, but it is now back to back, and it's taken her down to 1 under. So that stretch 14 and 15 certainly playing difficult. That takes Chanana 6 back of the defending champion, Peng Min-ji, leading on a 65. Final few holes in the day for Bakyal. She's playing 8-iron off the tee on her final par 3. A little kick back down the hill from the slope, and she should be feeling quite optimistic about reaching even par here. That's a lovely tee shot. Another Maserati up for grabs here at the par 3. Chanana could also do with a big rebound here at the 16th. She too lights out off the tee into birdie range. Now she's going to need to get that putter to work to a much higher extent than it wanted to at the 15th. Over to the beach on 14. Imi Jung, she rolled quite a healthy distance through it. She's 26 meters away from the pin as she digs her heels in. Didn't quite get the loft underneath it. That particular bunker, very hard packed. Tough to cushion it out, and she rolls all the way to the rough on the opposite side of the green. Well, the first of two short game shots at 15. Lee Dayan will be first. Starts to move over to the right, not quite enough speed to get all the way up towards the pin.
두 개만. 뭐?
여기까지 괜찮아?
아니. 야, 넌 뭐야? 너 왜 거기 있어?
From the border of the rough to the right side of the fairway. Here's Choyan, her second at the par 5, 276 meters. Second guessing her choice of club here. Into the position where she goes, do I lay up before the sand traps that cut the fairway, or do I try and go over? Especially with the tall grass leaning on top of the ball. She tries to clear it, and she's successful in doing so. The last minute audible pays off. from a much less precarious position. Similar end result, if not for a bit more distance over top of her competitors. EA1 still yet to find bogey all day long. Another tremendous start to this tournament. Lee Jung from off the green to par save range. And now her attempt to save par, she gets it there. Day on at 15. Not a ton of movement here, maybe a little left to right. Oh, I spoke too soon. Seemed a rather simple putt for par, but was anything but. Her second bogey on the back nine. ENG drawing it, trying to stay out of the sand, but she is going to find a similar fate to Imi Jung about 15 minutes ago. Chanye Sung for birdie at 16. 5.8 meters. Needs to hold this line. She's done it. And Chanana able to find her line. So gets one back after back-to-back bogeys. Finds herself 2 under in the final few holes of her round. It's 113 meters, fairway to pin for Cho Ayan at the 14th. Wasn't able to keep it plenty before the cup. That would have kept her up on the putting surface, but as soon as she carried that extra speed, she was going right back down the hill. just staying on the top step for now. It's going to find enough spin to take it down towards the cup. That is a lovely, lovely tee shot. And Matassom can't find a birdie at the last. So the second top rookie thus far this season has a 4 birdie and 5-hole window and then pars the rest of the way in. Dayan disappointed with that. Able to find the green off to the front right.
있으면 바람 보자.
The third for Chung-Yun Ji. She drives that left of the green, and look at the result. Nearly a hole out. Just punch that up the green, and yes, I think that's a well-warranted celebration there. That's back-to-back birdies. Her third of the back 9. She is sitting at 2 under in the home stretch of her opening round. Well, another tee shot at this par 3 that's going to spin right back down. She's been quite steady the past few tournaments. Not the most flashy, but always hanging around the top 3 pages of the leaderboard. Over to 17, Chanana 133 meters out. She's been attacking the greens fairly consistently today, and she can add another here. It's almost the perfect area to land that approach in terms of depth. Keeps you short of that step, but also keeps you away from the sand. Choyan has taken the wedge out of her bag here. Sat up in the second cut. Oh, it's brilliant. It's almost there. It is there. Remarkable up to find a birdie. It's back to back now after her bogey at 12, and that's almost certainly going to hang on to be her shot of the day. Heading back across the middle of this green and nice and close for Imi Jung. Well, we've been wondering if one of these were to come for the rookie. So her first bogey of the round comes at the 14th. Takes her back down to 3 under. The putter fails her for the first time today. Now Chanye Song starts it on line, just runs out of speed. Here's 15. You're at Solheim 1. It's a 379-meter par 4 over the water and into the first little fairway. There are 2 sand traps that separate that cut of rough from the second fairway. You can reach it if you are about 215 meters and accurate. It's definitely the riskier play. From there, the approach, 2 sand traps to the left side of the green, inserted into that cut of rough. Sand trap to the right alongside the trees as well. And our pin placement today here in round number 1. It's 12 yards off the back of the green today at 15, 9 from the right. ENG uses every last centimeter nearly of that first fairway and is safely away. Choayon is next to play. Not quite as deep in the fairway, but safe. And with the momentum she's starting to gather, not looking for anything to break up that flow. Well, following the lead of the first to tee off, Idayon also to the top right of that first fairway, and each and every member of this group is away in regulation. Over to 17, a nice approach led to this opportunity for birdie for Chanana, but it's missed to the inside. Jung, a lot of speed on that uphill putt, and it bounces out. Chanye Sung also for par here at 17. Just a short one. No troubles to affect her. This will keep Chanana at 2 under. A short effort. It's not what she wanted though at 17 after the nice approach. And likewise for Amy Jung just a couple of holes earlier. It's 179 meters for Choyeon. Pulling a hybrid out of the bag for her approach shot. It's a bit of a gamble, one that doesn't pay off as she's found the sand. That was sliced a little bit. Hooked rather for the righty, and stretches out and glances down at the notes, trying to mentally prepare herself for that greenside bunker out she will be playing next. Now EA1 is also gone for hybrid. It's 173 meters from this spot. Inherently also a bit of a draw on that, but able to use the slightly longer tee shot to her advantage. She's able to reach safely. The longest drive and the only to play an iron shot on the approach, 166 meters. Just over the trap, and that is a much more aligned kick towards the right side of the green. Won't be able to avoid a bit of a roll back down to the front. But 2 of the 3 have found the green, and Choyeon in the sand nearing the ends of their rounds. Kim Min-ju, she is now 1 back of the lead, playing her final hole. She teed off at the 10th earlier in the day. So if she can find a birdie at the 18th and final hole of her round, she will be joining Peng Min-ji in a share of the lead at 9 under par. You can see the round in progress. She started with a double bogey. Was able to find those strokes right back, 11 and 12. Would have 1 more bogey on the way out, and 7 consecutive birdies before finally finding a par at the 8th. Ichaen 2 amongst those also at 4 under par. 68's Pak Bo-gyam still with some time in her round, playing though the front 9 at the end of her round, having teed off at 10 as well. We'll keep an eye on her progress on the way in here at Seohae 1. Well, here we find Choi-Yun in the sand. It's 28 meters out. Better contacts out of the greenside hazard. She gets nicely up. Oh, Lee also just a little pitch. Nice control in the short game there. EA1, it is 13.4 meters from the left side of the green as she looks for birdie. Stayed pretty straight all the way through. So after her bogey at the last, she's able to find a par here at 15 and is holding firm at 3 under. Hung Jung-mi, this is her opportunity to find 2 under par. She's given herself a chance and is able to find another birdie. Her slow trot up the leaderboard stalled for a few holes, bogeys at 14 and 15. But picks up another stroke to the good. Just a couple of holes to play. Chung Yoon-ji needed to get that started up the hill, and she takes some liberty going to the right, but didn't have enough to give it a chance to come on back down. It was a triple bogey at 14 that took Hamin Song over par. She's finally back to even with a short birdie here at the 16th. And par at 16 for Lee Dae-yeon. Will carry that 2 under score to the next hole. Well, misread. And it's going to be a 3-putt hole and a bogey. Chung Yoon-ji. The consistency which helped propel her to victory a couple of weeks ago just hasn't been here in round 1. Birdies and bogeys left and right. And the attempt to save par for Choi-Yun here at 15. Some late movement on this putt, not enough to keep her away from her par. On to 17, Imi Jung first to tee off. Drops that in very well. across the course here at Solheim 1. There was rain in the forecast when we started our coverage of round number 1. Has mostly stayed away, though there are still plenty of low ceilings over the mountains here on the northeast side of the country. And a more flushed out look at the LF Hazzy's point standings. Jihan Sol up 2 spots from last week to 3rd. Peng Minji and Pak Ji-young dropping as a result. The biggest mover, Kim Soo-ji, up 5 spots from 13 to number 8 to start this week. Trying to reap the benefits she sowed off the tee, but Imi Jung has pulled that birdie putt to the inside left. 2 holes to play and still down in a tie for 41st. Also with Yuhei Ran, who has returned to the tour after heading across the ocean to America, taking part in the U.S. Women's Open where she missed the cut. As she settles back into her rhythm in Korea, she'll be hoping to rediscover some of that dominant form to start the season. Well, the final hole, one final opportunity for birdie number 8 on this back 9. Well, that's the sort of ball striking that is conducive to a scorecard like we're seeing from Kim Min-ju. Not an easy birdie putt, but when she has been putting as well as she had, she will stand over that putt confident that she can tie Peng Min-ji. This is Chun-Ye Sung from just outside of 100 meters on 18, her 3rd. Zips to a stop, gets it to the back half of the green, back quarter of the green, really pin high, with not much remaining for a birdie at the last. Now Chanana. .82 meters, short wedge up and onto the green, but she was a little left. Stayed in the fairway before the green and couldn't keep it on the putting surface. Seven iron off the tee, 3 holes to play, 3 under par for Cho Aeon. And right at the pin. Great tee shot to set up a birdie putt that she will have wished she had made earlier in her back 9. It was a bit closer here on the par 3 than what she was facing on the par 4, but the kind of range, the kind of mistakes that she has to try and minimize. Also 7 for EA1. Carries a little bit further, but the backspin's gonna take her back nice and close. She follows up with a lovely tee shot of her own. Well, 3 for 3 on the green. This is the furthest out, but ENG will still be putting. Over to 17. Sung Jung Mi for birdie. Back to back now. After back to back bogeys, back to back birds. 4 back with just 1 hole to play in her opening round. Left to right putt that had a little bit too much movement at the end. So a 2-putt par for Kim Min-ju. So her attempt to draw level comes up just shy on 18, but that won't take anything away from what she did in the final half of her round. She is only 1 shot back heading into moving day. Now Chananoff putting from the fairway to the back left of the green. It's carrying plenty of pace to get her there. Slightly misaligned and a long exhale as she knew she came close. So back-to-back pars to end her day. A birdie at 16, as she had done at 10, 9, and 4. She finishes her opening round and a tie for 28th at the moment. Another visit to the sand for Imi Jung. Here's her second at 17. Narrowly misses another sand trap and will roll back to center. That's a decent effort out. Of course, she'd love to be putting, but from where she is, it's just a little chip and run up top. Back with Chung Yoon Ji. And 16. Needs to get this up the hill, move it to the right. Starts that action a second too late, so she will be settling for par. The par 4 17th will be next. Bit of a shakeup. We don't see a ton of these par 5 18ths across the tour. Make for some interesting journeys either way on Sunday. Disappointed with the par at the last, but Chun Ye-sung, it is 3 birdies on the back 9, a bogey-free round of 68. 1 is first. Currently in a tie for 14th. This birdie putt would move her within 3 and into the top 10. She's got it. Still just 1 bogey on the day. Now from off the green, Jung trying to get it close. She's done that. Short putt for par at the penultimate hole. Short putt for birdie after a lovely tee shot for Choayon. And she's able to get to 4 under as well. So she goes up with her group mates almost in lockstep into the top 10. It was a miss to the right off the 18th tee for Hamin Song. Into a forgiving bit of rough. Loses the handle on the follow through. And a massive burst leap down the fairway and eats up a lot more yardage to the extreme left, but in play. We rejoin Yimi Chung at 17. Nice bit of control on the par putt. She would like to see herself much higher up the leaderboard. Currently being bested by 27 of the 120 in the field. She's been averaging 232 meters per drive, just outside the top 10 on tour. Or in this tournament, excuse me. She has not missed a fairway today. Now Choayon also with driver. It's a lovely draw into the fairway. EA1 to the opposite side of the fairway, where she will be just in behind of Chung Yun-ji. 18 meters, top of the apex for Amy Jung, and she will be heading to the left side of this fairway. Nearly disappears from view, but just stays up atop the slope. And after back-to-back birdies, the approach for Jung Mi. Doesn't look like she'll be able to go 3 from 3 as she's taken that all the way to the fringe. Didn't quite get the loft to help with some backspin to keep that in play. That's rolled right off the back. That's much more like it. And DA1 up over the sand, up onto the green. Though quite a lot more left and deeper than she would have wanted. That will make for a tricky third. It's 158. Chung Yoon-ji, the last to play the approach. Another one in that's up on the draw, but nearly had herself in tap-in birdie range, but didn't have the carry to get over the sand. Choi on into the landing zone well. Makes that fairway wood work to her advantage. Putting down from off the back of the 18th green. Starts to move early, perhaps too early. In the end, it's a really good attempt at birdie. Just not quite there for Jung Min, who is going to have to settle for a par here at 18. Also from off the green, though this putt that takes it past the hole. Dayon will mark off. Song slightly inside of 5 meters to finish the round under par. Not quite enough power on it. So it is a 72 this opening round of Friday. 2 bogeys on the front and a triple at 14 was the undoing for Ha-Min Song today. Now 13 meters back of the pin from the sand. Pretty much the only real option from there. You don't want to go for a little bit too much power because then you're up on the hill and it makes the putt almost impossible, so that's played well. So 69 in the first round. Birdies at 1, 7, 13, 16, and 17. And 3 bogeys to take her closer to even, but she is inside the top echelon of the field through day 1. EA1 trying to tiptoe down towards the cup. About 15 centimeters shy to the right. Dayon for par for a round of 70. She's got it. 2 birdies, 2 bogeys on the way in. Birdies at 3 and 6 as well. And as she makes her way to the clubhouse, she is in a tie for 28th position. Pressure-packed putt this to try and avoid a bogey. She can't hole out. Drops her out of the top 60. 2 bogeys in the last 3 holes, her third of the back 9. Difficult day at the office continues for Pak Ji-young, who is 4 over, but we'll take some solace in that. A 1 meter putt for birdie on an otherwise dim day. Joyon. Short miss to the inside. Three back with 1 hole to play. Similar boat for EA1. Well, punched onto the green from just off the front. Cheng Su-Yun with a shot I'm sure she doesn't practice, let alone play all that often. You're not looking for loft, but you're looking for speed to run it up. Especially from that mid-distance. Interesting one, that. And it's 43 for Imi Jung. And that is why we just saw a punch, because the pitch fails Imi Jung, takes her off the back. This is 18, nearly half a kilometer in distance. And in fitting fashion with the elevation changes here at Soleil 1. A tee shot up the hill into the fairway. A fairway bunker just to the right from 210 meters, then continuing over the sand, this dogleg portion of the par 5. Fairway will widen out in the landing zone into short wedge territory up to the green. And from there, it is certainly a play up. But the pin location today, it's tricky for day one. Straight line from the little indent at the top of the bunker to the left. Go 32 yards up from that. And just 5 yards from the left side of the putting surface today. Choi on her final drive of the day. Straight down, nice final swing with the driver. This Friday afternoon, minutes away from becoming Friday evening here in Korea. Nearly 60 meters per second, 22 meters into the air, and carrying beyond Cho Ayan's ball to the exact center of this fairway. She has driven very well today. Well, one that Chung Yoon-ji would have needed. To the left of the fairway, and you can see by the body language, she's typically a cool customer, but a little bit more dejected here at 18 with a tough day. Now from 10 meters back, Imi Jung, her efforts doesn't miss by much. Speeding by the left side of the cup though. So 75 on day one. 2 double bogeys on the card. 2 bogeys, 1 at 5, birdies 7, and now at 18 for an average top 10 player through what is now 9 completed events this season. The little right to left blip at the end keeps that out. Zhang Suyan a tap-in par. She was out with the 36, started the back nine so promisingly. Back-to-back birdies, she'd find a double and a couple other bogeys on the way in, so she too will finish over par on the day. Imi Jung is under par but needs this to stay there. And a 71. The action for her happened early in the round. Bogey 2, birdie 3, birdie before the turn, and then all pars from there. Working down the left side of the fairway. Nice second shot, but really it is all up to the approach. And following suit is EA1. Well, some movement on that, and it brings the tree in play for Jung Yoon Ji. Well, putting from off the front is Kim Yan. About middle of the way through that putt, it made its move to the right and stay short. Mostly unchanged. The top 6 names in this opening round, though Kim Min-ju with the exceptional back nine has climbed into a tie for second position here just after 5 p.m. in the evening, becoming a gorgeous night here in Yangyang. Quick break and back to wrap up with our featured groups right after this. Final few swings for a featured group. Here is EA1's approach on 18, only 74 meters shy. Looks to be a 58 degree and will zip to the left, but keep herself on the green for one final attempt at par. Those have been relatively few and far between for her today, though more importantly, so have bogeys. Choyan also on the approach. Also a big angled wedge. Very, very nicely done. One last look down the rangefinder. Plotting her attack. Even at the moment, but with the way her back nine has gone, don't be surprised to see her stick this in close and come away with a birdie. It's 66 meters. Okay, well, I don't know about sticking it in close, but she'll take the uphill putts and try to attack. We'll rejoin 18 momentarily. In the meantime, we will go back to 17. Or 16, excuse me. Kim Yan at 2 under, 80% greens in regulation thus far today. She can add another, though that's not the roll she would have wanted, going away from the pin instead of back at it and keeping her on that bottom shelf of the green. Well, no bona fide birdie looks, though this, okay, the little roll maybe takes that back. Still just outside of the very comfortable range on 16, but everyone is teed off. Everyone is putting. Well, that's dropped in nicely. Short putt for birdie, all that will remain. I mentioned this at the top of the broadcast, but just the third playing, excuse me, just 2 previous winners in this event, and at the moment, one of those 2 has a chance to repeat, having begun in 2019. Cho Jung-min with a 7 under tournament score to win the inaugural playing of this tournament back in 2019. 5 under in round 1, 2 under in round 2, even in round 3 on the way to the victory. She is currently 2 over par and needs this to stay at that pace. Just 1 birdie on the day at 6, bogeys at 5, 8, and 1 along the back 9. She hasn't been able to find consistent magic, but it's come in spurts. 4.5 meters uphill for birdie for Chung Yoon Ji to finish the day 1 under. It's on line, yes. Nicely done. So her 71st shot on Friday finds the bottom of the cup, and she will finish under par. Kim Yan didn't get that far enough to the right to get it started. It would have been just shy, even if she had her line. So we tap in par at 16. One birdie here thus far on the back nine. If she can find one more, she'll finish the day 2 back. For a 5 under round of 67, knocks it down. 2 for 2 in group 29. Her one bogey coming at 14, but she will soon be running away for good with this rookie race, and not only that, she's doing some damage in the points and money lists as well. Well, 2 putts here at 16 for Yoo-Hoo Ju. 1 over par with 2 holes to play. And Joanne trying to complete the trifecta. She's been matching EA1 almost identically the past few holes. Shot for shot, score for score, looking for a birdie of her own, and it is also a 67. After her bit of a shock bogey at 12, she's been able to collect 4 more birdies on the way in. It's a great start to her tournament, great end to the day. Finishes in a tie for 5th with, at the moment, 6 other players. On to 15, Hoda Bin for par. She is 3 under. Unfortunately, not for very long. It's her 3rd bogey of the day and her first in a run of 3 birdies to start the back nine. It's really only Sung Gaeun, who you will see in a moment. There you go, page 2 at the 7th hole, which is as if she was through 16. Really in the hunt at 5 under par. Everyone else is in the clubhouse. Iki Pum and Pak Bo Giam also still out on course inside the top 15. But the front page of the leaderboard is really firmly established. Otherwise, Peng Min Ji continues to lead as our featured groups have reached the clubhouse. Well, we are on the northeast coast of Korea here in Yangyang, playing at the Seoulhae-won Country Club. Cut out of the mountains, a beautiful resort here. As we see so much from coast to coast, this country that embraces this sport and its ability to coincide with nature. Another picturesque course on display. Kim So-yi, she has been charging up the various leaderboards we showed you earlier in the day. The movement she has made in the LF Hazi's point standings. She's also climbing up the points marks as well. Her approach, her tee shot rather, on 16. Hodabi next to tee off at 16. She is 2 under. No aces on the day. 3 eagles though. Chung Sul-gi had one at the 12th earlier in the day, and the other 2 belonging to a pair of players in the top 5. Pak So-jin at 14 and Pae So-yeon at the 6th, finding eagle on the day. On to 17. 2 holes remain for Yu Hyu-ju to find a birdie to get her to even. Misaligned on this approach to 17. Over to the back left she goes. Skies have cleared over the course. The rain stayed away, at least in the afternoon. 120 players in the field contesting the 10th event of 34 this season on tour. 1 billion won is the purse. 180 million of that has been set aside for our champion on Sunday. And those prizes are starting to ramp up. We will see 1.2 billion up for grabs next week at the 36th Korea Women's Open Golf Championship. This, the warm-up for many for that major. Decent effort to get within a 1 meter radius of the pin. And now to 18. Cho Jung-min doesn't quite have the distance to get it all the way there. In 2019, when she won this event, At no point in her 3 rounds was she over par, though she did finish an even par score of 72 in the final round on Sunday. Kim So-yi knew she was going to be in for a tricky one here from up the hill above the pin. And is down and to the inside of the target. And the look at par comes up just a little awry. So the second bogey of the back 9, the fifth of the day, just the one birdie on the round to finish at 3 over for the 2019 champ. Now Hoda Bean putting for par at 16. Able to rattle it in. She is currently 2 under with just 2 holes to play. Once again, look at the leaderboard. Peng Ji leading at 7 under, 65 with just a handful of groups still out. Scattered throughout 16, 17, 18, 7, 8, 9. Yu Ju down the hill into the valley. Those putts from not only that distance, but even up on the step have less than 5% probability of success. Despite a lot of close calls, we've seen very few birdies from that location today. Still playing from off the green. This is the fringe. Also at 17. He keep him 3 back. Sends this into the mixer. Also comes up about a meter shy. Kim Yan to stay at 2 under just has enough for her par. It's been a steady round. And Yigipum has her par as well. Hasn't had a bogey since the 9th. 5 birdies on the day. 9 consecutive holes with a par through the back 9. Started the front 9, excuse me. Started the back 9 with 2 more pars. Go birdie at the 12th, bogey 13 and 15, and now it's back to back for Yu Ju. Young playing her 3rd on 18, 89 meters out from the fairway. bounces once, hits the flag stick, and then picks up more speed as it goes off the back. Only one bogey in her round. That came at the par 4 at 15. Park Bo-mi, Peso Yan, and Kim Min-ju end the day in a tie for second spot, just one back of the defending champion, Bang Min-ji. We will see some of her best bits of action in our round highlights momentarily as we allow a few of the remaining groups to continue to make their way through the 18th tee, or the 18th tee and green. Another quick pause, and then we'll be back out to the final 3 holes here at Solhae 1. More groups wrapping up. Park Do-young putting from off the back of the 18th green.
Okay.
She gave that a good go. ...137 meters on this approach for Hoda Bean at 17. It was going to be an unfortunate kick up to the back left as well, so birdies all but off the table for this group. And if they don't weigh the putts properly, wouldn't surprise me to see more than one bogey here with how difficult it's been playing. Another par save at 18 for a round of 70. She's in. Tied amongst the likes of Mata Som and others. The 2-under round currently tied for 30th. Let's take you through the round highlights now. Pak Bo-mi, as we've seen time and time again, would go on to finish round number 1 in a tie for second. Bounces off the ball marker at the 9th to prevent another birdie, from being picked up. Having said that, she would have been in tough despite that. So she would finish the round with 3 consecutive pars on the way to a 66 in day 1. Kwon So-yeon, she has been one of the rookie revelations thus far this year. A lovely approach on the way to a round of 68, only 2 bogeys on the day. Ko Chi-yu at 8. Would end up being her final birdie of the day, of which there were multiple. 6 of them, in fact. Just the 1 bogey that would come at the 4th hole on 18. Pae So-yeon she'd have the eagle at 6, one of just 3 on the day, only 1 bogey coming at the 14th. She was steady as they come. And the defending champ. This was on 8, 95-meter pitching wedge shots. Would set up her 9th birdie of the day. She'd have back-to-back bogeys at 5 and 6, so to think the lead she has could have been larger. EA1, only 1 bogey on the round as well, and 6 birdies. This tee shot to set up one of them at the par 3. She'd have 2 par 3 birdies on the day, and that putter working very well. This was her first 4 birdies in a 5-hole window early in her round. Fast forward to 12. Chun Ye-sung from the back right, tiptoeing and just having enough to roll down and in. A bogey-free round with 4 birdies into a tie for 13th. Speaking of 13, let's go there with Cho Ah-yeon. Her approach shot, almost the dead center of the fairway. Uses the backspin to slow her up just in time for a simple tap-in bird. And this was the action from her at 14. Nestled up in the rough, what should have been a tricky chip would end up being one of the shots of the day, holing out from off the green. And that would be back-to-back birdies as she responded to her sole bogey of the day very well. Finished the round with a ton of momentum. She would carry that over to the 16th. A nice bounce, straightened it out on line as well. If it had a bit more speed, it probably would have been an ace. That would be fifth birdie of the day, all leading to 18. There were a ton of birdies at 18. This is the 18th hole, but the 9th actual hole on course. It was an opportunity for Kim Min-ju to find an 8th birdie on the way in, but it was a 29 to keep her in a tie for second. Just couldn't quite get to that top step with Peng Min-ji, but what a round she had, despite starting with a double bogey at the 10th. EA1 with one of the aforementioned late round birds. This was at 16. She'd have one more at 18. And it was a tricky one, to say the least, from the left front edge. A beeline to the bottom of the cup. A round of 67. Just one bogey on the day, and the shooting star rookie locked in, and so was Cho Ayan as they went shot for shot on the way in together in that group. She would also finish the day two back of the leader. So with the exception of a couple of players, most notably Iggy Pum, who is 4 under, we are nearly set in stone. This leaderboard after 18 holes. Hoda Bin has this to get to 3 under, will move her inside the top 20, but we know the odds. Trying to defy them inside of a meter. She will have a tap-in par. So this is how things shake up with about 98% of the field in. Peng Min-ji leading with a 65, 7 under par. Pak Po-mi, Pei So-yeon, Kim Min-ju in a tie for second. Ko Chiu, Pak So-jin, Cho Ayan, Che Yuno, the bottom of the first page leaderboard. EA1 in that tie for fifth as well. We have 2 more. Song Gaeun, who had a really nice run in to finish off the day, also at 5 under. Pak So-yeon still out on course. She could move into that tie for fifth with a birdie at the last. Yuni Na, one of the great rookies to start the year, at 2 under. And there are, quite frankly, many from 20 all the way down to 30, all in that tie at 2 under par. Yoo-hae Ran, in her return to the LPGA Tour of Korea, would finish the day with a 71. 6 back of the lead. Well, this is where we will say goodbye for our opening round coverage. We will be back on air at the same time tomorrow at 3 p.m. local time here in Korea for round 2 of the Celltrion Queens Masters event number 10 on the season. On behalf of our entire SBS Golf crew, I've been Adam Jenkins signing off from my Toronto studios and saying farewell for now. We will see you back tomorrow afternoon here at Seoul 1.